Boom! Ha! Went Degeneration X on that. What's up, everyone? Marc Lobliner, TigerFitness.com alongside
NGA Pro Lex Kovacs with NutraKey.
Let me tell you a little something, man. We got this question and answer thing going on, and people send me in questions and I answer them. And this one's from a man, Luis. I'm guessing that's Luis because it's a Hispanic last name. And if I said Louis, people are like, oh, you're such a fucking Caucasian.
Probably not Louis.
Yeah, I'm going Luis because it's L-U-I-S. And his last name's, I'm not going to say it, but it's
Torres.
Okay, we'll say it. What's up, Luis Torres? So, this is called muscle hardness on dieting. And this is something we can relate to because we've dieted a couple times in our lives. Hey, Marc. My diet has gone pretty well so far. Went from 170 in midweight, now being 164 pounds halfway through July. Well, he's taking that shit slow, isn't he? He's losing 1 pound a month. That's good. Slow is good. Slow is good. And almost, I mean, how fat can he be? He's 170 pounds. Yeah. My only complaint is my physique doesn't look or feel dense at all compared to a few weeks ago. I do refeeds and all that stuff, but I still feel like a 60-year-old who can't get it up. We talked about that, man. Before I finish this question, I just want to give a little anecdote. I haven't woken up one morning since I was like 10 years old without morning wood. And if I did wake up without morning wood, I'd call the emergency room right away and make sure my dick still works. Just saying.
I've seen it.
Okay.
I've seen people call 911, I mean.
What's your take on it? Been watching since 2012. What do you think, man? You've dieted down. You know what's going on.
You're never going to have that perfect look that you always want. They say that the day you stepped into the gym is the day that you're going to be forever small and chasing that dream.
Yep. Or forever fat, or forever ugly. Okay, maybe I'm just ugly.
But you have to notice that your body is changing, regardless if it's 1 pound a month, regardless if it's 2 pounds a month. It's changing over time, and giving yourself enough time is key.
Yeah.
Any change is change.
Some change will do you good. Will do you good. I'm going to say what I think it is, all right? It just doesn't have as much glycogen in his muscles.
Yep.
What makes it hard? Dude, have you ever... There was one, remember, Zach's behind the camera, but I'm going to bring him into this so he can talk. Remember after we had that ice cream eating challenge with Ronnie Coleman? How full I was? Like, everything was popping. Sure, I had a belly like I got pregnant by Ronnie Coleman, which isn't unusual. He has like 12 kids, right?
Yeah, buddy.
But... Can you imagine him? Yeah, buddy! Just hand on the waist. Hand on the waist, just a reverse hip. So anyway, the thing is, the reason I was so hard, even though I just ate a bunch of ice cream, cookies, brownies, and everything else that made me throw up about 12 hours later, was the fact that my muscle glycogen stores were full. When you're dieting and you're losing weight, you have your protein's usually set around 1 gram to 1.5 grams per gram per pound, right? Mm-hmm. And your fat's usually around, on average, from what I see, what most diets, even flexible to bro, if you average a lot, it's about 0.5 grams of fat per pound. So for me, it would be about 100 grams, which is fine. I'm 240 pounds, so about 120 grams, which is, for my caloric intake, nothing for 5,000 calories, right? Yeah. So where are you going to manipulate to lose weight? Carbs. Less carbs, less muscle glycogen. You're in a caloric deficit, which means that you're burning more than you have. So there you go. And I bet you when my man here refeeds, if he's refeeding properly, if he was to go train during that refeed, he'd look phenomenal. Yeah,
and that was one question that sprung in my mind was, what do your refeeds look like?
Yeah.
How much carbs are you actually taking in? When I carb cycle year round. I do 2 refeeds every single week. And my refeeds are normal, or my high carb days, I should say, are almost double the carbs. That calories come down a little bit, and so does protein. I'm still within that 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight threshold, but my carbs are double. So, and the frequency is important as well too. You're going to look a little more flat on those days that you're taking in those carbohydrates. But the next day and the next day after that, you're just looking harder and harder and harder.
It's coming in, yeah. And your body's dropping that water and bringing the water into the cells. And are you properly hydrated? And one more thing we're going to go over ad nauseum. What's your sodium intake? Because a lot of people who are flat, you simply throw some sea salt on all their meals. It's amazing what happens.
That's right.
Amazing what happens. So one thing is, dude, don't cut sodium. don't cut water. And if you are dieting, it's normal to be flat. Even IFBB pros I know, the guys who don't have like some of these guys like Rolly and those guys, they have super fast metabolisms. But if you look at Phil posted one of his meals, I'm good friends with Phil, and it was literally like a fucking 500 calorie chicken and rice meal. He's like, oh, I get to eat chicken instead of tilapia, you know, because Honey's, you know, a bro, so he's tilapia meal too. But fucking think about it, like Phil Heath weighs 260 pounds contest shredded. Like Phil's gonna be like, I feel so flat. We look at him, we're like, yeah, I'd love to be that flat, right? But even the pros get that when they're dieting. Sure. And even if your calories are super high, what's super high for you, you're burning through, somebody with a slow metabolism might not burn through.
That's right. And what's the root word of carbohydrate? Hydrate.
Yeah.
Keep yourself hydrated at all times. Carbohydrates are the way to go.
There you go, brother. Hopefully that's enough for you. That's not a game.